to Storybook Spooks, Part 3.
It was 10 o'clock. Lola had been staring at the blank page, then at the clock, back and forth, over and over again, until she gulped. The time had changed to 10:03. Right on cue, the book stuck to its promise. Word after word quickly rose to the top of the page, one after the other.
You must dispose of this book.
What? Lola was dumbstruck. Then she read on.
Next Saturday, you will have the opportunity to pass this book on to a new person. Below are some ideas to help you. Choose one and stick to it. You must choose one of the methods below only. The giving of the book must occur naturally, and the person must choose it for themselves. Once again, to remind you, if you fail to follow and carry out these instructions, or to successfully pass the book on, the consequences for you will be severe. Bye for now. P.S. Don't ever write inside me again.
Exclamation mark. Be careful what you wish for, Lola thought. I guess I always did want a book that would give me a scare, but maybe this one takes things slightly too far. The book very kindly informed Lola of the various options she could choose in order to pass the book on. Lola decided on car boot sale. Her parents welcomed the idea of a car boot sale and even joined in on the idea with their own junk from the attic, as they called it. Lola was annoyed, not only at the prospect of being a spook, but in order to make her plan convincing, she couldn't just bring the book along to sell. That would look too suspicious. She had to bring along items from her bedroom she wasn't too keen to check out. I'll hide them under Mum and Dad's stuff, and if anyone's interested, I'll tell them such a high price they'll think I'm as crooked as Edith Edmonds. On the car journey there, Lola looked out the window at the fields, electricity pylons, cows and horses. She felt car sick, which she never usually felt, which must mean she was nervous. She focused from the back seat on a point between her parents' car seats and up at the horizon. She closed her eyes gently, and it was only natural where her thoughts should fall. The book told me the consequences would be severe, but what's worse than living as a spook hundreds of years ago, in the village I live in? It's a lose-lose situation. What if it's down to luck what I become? What if I'm worse than that thief in prison? But she was always a horrid character, so maybe it's based on what you were like on Earth today that determines what spook you become. That evil woman was probably a thief before entering the old village. She was probably on her way to prison, if not already there in the present. Maybe she got the book from the prison library. Yeah, she probably did. By passing on the book to me, she followed the rules and probably thought she'd be rewarded and let out of prison. Ha! Guess she was wrong, judging by that sketch I saw of her in the book. Stuck in a prison hundreds of years ago, by the looks of things, in a supernatural world. I don't want to live amongst the likes of that thief, but can I really pass this book on to another innocent person? Do I really want them to face the dilemma I'm in right now? What if I break the cycle once and for all, and no one gets the book? The spell, or whatever it is, will be broken, once and for all. No, I can't. The prospect of being worse than a spook for the rest of my life is too much to think about. I have no choice. I have to do this. I'm going to pass the book on. Lola didn't know what she was expecting, but as they pulled into the huge field to host their car boot sale, hundreds of other cars had had the same idea. They had pulled up directly behind a family-sized, elongated silver car. The man, who was still unpacking more items out of his boot, had spread out on a silk cloth-covered table an array of silver spoons, fountain pens, wooden clocks, silver glistening hand mirrors, and what looked like the expensive necklaces resting on red cushioned neck stands. All the items were set up like a shop window in a neat and orderly fashion. Lola said to her parents quietly, "Someone's made the effort." Lola's parents voiced their concerns that all their items they had bought had been cheap junk. Lola scoffed. "If his items are that great, why didn't he keep them?" "Shh," her parents said. "The windows are open." Lola did as she had planned and put the items she secretly wanted to keep under her parents' larger items. The largest item she bought had been the book, which she placed stood up at the front of everything. She opened the book out from the middle in a flattering position, ready to lure any potential buyers. They'd been at the car boot sale for 2 hours now, and still no sale. Lola was starting to feel panicky. A woman with dangling diamond earrings and a strappy lengthy top approached the stand. She had sunburnt shoulders with a white stripe of skin where the shoulders of her top had been. She had picked up the book. Lola's heart had lunged. The woman gave it the once over before carefully placing it back down. The woman turned to Lola, smiled politely, and started to walk away, holding 2 full carrier bags. Lola chased after her. "Hey, wait, please!" The woman turned round. "Why don't you want the book?" The woman looked a bit taken aback. "Oh, it's nothing personal. I've really bought too much already. Can't carry much more." "Please," Lola pleaded. "I need to know why so I can sell it. What made you change your mind?" "Well, I suppose it looked brand new when I first held it, but when I looked closer it started to look a bit old. I'm sure it's not," she quickly added. "And there was no blurb on the back, and I like to know what I'm reading." "Okay," Lola said. "Thanks for your feedback. I'll let you go now." Well, there's nothing I can do about that, Lola thought. She had an hour left. She had pleaded with her parents for more time, but they were strict and stubborn. She found that forcing the book down people's throats as they walked past was too desperate a move, and any potential sales looked at her like she was mad when she attempted it. Instead, she took out a deck chair from the boot, put her sunglasses on and sulked. A man, who Lola assumed must have been her granddad, was checking out their stall. He was holding the hand of a little boy around 7 or 8. The man seemed kind, and he had those wrinkles you get in the corners of your eyes from smiling all the time. He was still youthful looking, despite his patchy white hair. Lola saw that the young boy had a blue cap on with a picture of a red bull on the front with 2 horns poking out. He was slapping a long straight bracelet onto his arm, which wrapped around it when it hit. His grandfather looked up at Lola and smiled. "Bought that for him today. Hasn't stopped playing with it all day." Lola took off her sunglasses. "I remember those when I was young. Think I had a superhero girl one." The boy rushed over to his granddad. "Can I have this book?" The granddad rolled his eyes in front of Lola. "He hates reading," the man said. "Come on, Joe, you've had your bracelet thing. You're not going to read that. Put it back." Lola jumped out of her chair and without thinking said to the little boy, "We must have the same taste. I've read this book. It's one of my favourites, and it's very mysterious. There's not another book out there like it, I promise. I'll tell you what, that book is free." Lola's body suddenly jolted and her face dropped. She replayed what she had just said inside her mind. "I'm using the same lines Edith Edmonds, that woman in the shop, used on me." "That's very kind of you," the man said, and was placing the book inside his rucksack. "No, I'm sorry." Lola yanked the book out of the man's hands. "It's not for sale. I've been stupid. It's not suitable for his age. I shouldn't have been reading it myself." The random dramatic outburst from Lola had made the boy's bottom lip tremble, and he looked like he was going to cry. Lola hurried over to him. "I'm so sorry. I never meant to shout. I just didn't want you getting scared, that's all. Listen, I have something for you." And she rummaged under her parents' tea towels they were selling. "Here," she said. She had fetched her favourite ornament, something she never intended to sell, her snow globe. "This is very special. That book is nothing compared to this. Look here." She crouched down so that she was eye level to the boy. "See here? There's a cottage with snow on the roof. There's 2 lampposts and 2 trees." The boy's eyes were transfixed. "Give it a shake," she said to the boy, and the boy shook the snow globe with 2 hands. "Do you see the snow?" "Yeah." "The best part is at night time, the lights inside the house come on. So take this home with you and see for yourself." The boy was lost for words. "Say thank you," his granddad said, prompting him. "Thank you." "Come on then, Joe." And the man took the snow globe in one hand and put his other hand on his grandson's upper back, softly guiding him along. Lola looked at her watch. 10 minutes left. There's no point now. I failed my mission. When they arrived back home, Lola threw her book to the back of her wardrobe and slid the mirror doors shut. She couldn't bear the sight of it. If she ignored it, it might go away, back to wherever it came from. She decided to ignore the book for as long as she could. She couldn't dispose of it, it kept coming back, but the book couldn't force her to read its pages. Feeling pretty smug with herself, Lola believed she had outsmarted it. To annoy the book some more, she decided to read her new book she purchased on the way home from the car boot sale that day. This one was called The Graveyard of Gore. "See," Lola said to the book in the wardrobe, "an actual scary book with a beginning, middle, and end. Unlike your boring character descriptions." She looked over to the wardrobe. "Your spooks aren't even scary, just boring real-life people you've stolen, living hundreds of years ago." Reading always was the fastest way for Lola to get to sleep. Within 2 pages, she let the pages slip from her grasp and the book thudded to the floor. Lola had been in a deep sleep, but something had woken her up. She stared at her clock. It just turned to 10:04. Her immediate thought was, "Is there an earthquake going on?" She felt a vibration through her chest, trembling. She stepped up to the window and opened it, but the night air was eerily quiet. It was a pounding tremor, but she must be the only one to hear it, or feel it, as no one had come to her room to see what the commotion was about. When she walked to certain points of the room, the vibration either strengthened or weakened. Lola twigged. "It's coming from the wardrobe." She put the main light of her bedroom on for added support. She moved coat hangers of her clothes to the side and spread them apart when she saw the book pulsating. She touched it. It was hot like a battery charger that had been left on too long. Lola paced the bedroom. "Maybe it'll tire itself out." She waited a while. "No, it's getting worse." She picked the book up and immediately it opened itself in her palms, so quickly that it gave her stinging paper cuts down the side of her hands. She defiantly looked away from the pages. "No, must not read." Then suddenly a voice came into her head, which didn't belong to her.
"You would have been queen of all the land and lived a full, long, happy life."
There was a brief pause, and then,
"This is no longer the case. You are no longer part of the present human world."
"I knew that was coming," Lola thought over the noise in her mind. She braced herself, squeezing her eyes tight until they sunk into her skull. The book had one final thing to say.
"Nor are you part of the past spook world."
Then Lola's vision went black, while her mind went blank.
The Storybook Spooks. End of Part 3.